We got to move on to our next interview now. And recently, Deputy President David Mabuza convened and chaired a meeting of the political task team on Eskom. Recovery of municipal debt was the primary focus. Rising municipal debts pose serious risks to Eskom's long-term financial sustainability and contribute significantly to liquidity challenges facing the power utility. To discuss this further, we're joined now by the South African Local Government Association President, Councillor Thembisile Nkadimeng. Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Leanne, and good morning to our viewers.
Yeah, good morning to you too. How much more important has it become for the tight to stay on, so to say, given the COVID-19 pandemic?
Leanne, the situation is dire. It's bad. From the statistics which we collected into the meeting with the Deputy President on Friday, municipalities are owing Eskom close to 28 billion. Of that, 25 billion is 90 days old, which means it is outside the realm of our collection policies. We should have collected it already. And only on that 25 billion, government makes 10 billion. Now, our household makes 70% of the debt, and we are unable to collect it as municipalities. Top 20 municipalities isolated are now owing Eskom to a region of 80%, and 40% of that is in one province, Free State. So not very long, Eskom will be terminating in Free State if nothing happens. It has started in Mpumalanga, which is the second biggest as well, currently as we're talking. There are solutions. We have agreed on Friday on the Ombudsman, where the Ombudsman, a neutral, possibly acting judge, will deal with the issue of who owes how much to municipalities, because there's disputes. But secondly, we need to change the system of how Eskom runs with regard to penalties and interests. We've made those submissions. There's something called notified maximum demand, which talks to municipalities which draw more electricity than they are allowed to. And this leads to electricity losses because it's usually informal settlements, and most of them, the causes is illegal connections. Municipalities try, but the infrastructure doesn't allow us because we don't have smart meters in the main. And that is another answer, smart metering. The biggest problem which...
I just want to come in very quickly. We talked to defaulting municipalities. I mean, you mentioned the Free State as one of them that, you know, is facing almost immediate cuts because of non-payment. But I mean, if we look at these municipalities, they supported to structure and enter debt repayment arrangements with Eskom and ensure that this debt is actually repaid and adhered to by strengthening the work of this newly established council. So what's going to happen there in terms of these defaulting municipalities?
Leanne, I think that's the assistance what you need. There were 20 agreements signed by these municipalities. Sadly, only one is able to live by the agreement. And that is why Eskom is threatening cutting and trying to find sustainable ways of getting the money. So if there are contests at who owes how much, we need a neutral person to get that vote. But municipalities need to exercise their audit control. I mean, the element which was also raised in the meeting was that even government feels that as a sphere we are corrupt and we need to get our act of maladministration together. We're engaging the AG there to begin to send cases to the Hawks on the past financial year audit that gives him powers now to take charges on municipalities that have been found to be in the wrong. I mean, one municipality in the Free State that owes Eskom was allocated 21 million to build a stadium. Today, there's no stadium, but 21 million has been spent. It's written by the AG. So why don't we, because that also makes a problem of people believing in municipalities that they can even pay. So why don't we just ensure that if you don't use the money appropriately, action is taken against you without any shadow of a doubt. I think it will also give confidence to our people to pay.
Yeah. Apparently there are debts owed from other state-owned entities. Can you elaborate on this for us, and how much are we talking about?
Well, Leanne, yes, there are. Department of National Public Works and Provincial Public Works are the main bearers, but around 18.7 billion of this is 9 of it is owned by government, by state-owned enterprises. And that's how bad the situation is. So government owes us around 9.9 billion, and 11 of that is owed by state-owned enterprises.
I want to, if you don't mind, just pause the interview for a little bit. We need to update our viewers with our news. We're going to come back to this just to wrap up and talk about a few issues, because it is a very, very important one. We haven't given it enough time. But I need to hand it over to Sakina now just to update us very quickly on our top news stories. Sakina.